Today's Daily Dose of Math is a question that involves similar triangles. Here we have a rectangle. The length and width of the rectangle are 80 units and 40 units. And we have two triangles in the diagram, and we're told the triangles are similar. How long is x? This is a straightforward similar triangles question that you solve with a proportion, with a couple of extra steps because we're given information about the rectangles and not directly given information that we need in the triangles. So let's do those extra steps. This side of the rectangle is 40 units in length, therefore this side of the upper triangle must also be 40 units in length. And this side of the rectangle is 80 units, so therefore this side of the other side of the rectangle is 80 units, therefore the upright side of this bigger triangle is 80 units. Now we have the information we need and we can solve with a proportion. But I will point out that this is very similar to the tree shadow proportion type of question. And I'll do some transformations just for fun to turn this into a tree shadow question. So with the upper triangle, I'm going to start by rotating it 90 degrees counterclockwise. And I get something that looks like this. And I know this side is where we have 24 units in length, and this side here is 40. But I'll do more. I'll also do a reflection now, with this being the mirror line. And what I end up with is really the same triangle, and this side on the upright is 40, this side on the bottom is 24. So it's not drawn very well, being drawn without a ruler. But what I've done is I have reoriented that triangle so that it's facing the same way as this big one. And I'll reproduce the big one. Here's our 80. And here's our x. And now we could see that if I wanted, I could remove this longest side of both triangles, and I could say this looks like a tree shadow proportion. This can be converted into a tree, so can this. And then, of course, this line on the bottom can be seen as the shadow. It works the same way as a tree shadow proportion. Now I'll build my proportion. The 40 and the 80 are both heights of the tree, or if you wish, they're both the medium length sides of their respective triangles, so I'll put them together. And then the 40 and the 24 are both from the same triangle, so they also have to be together because this is a direct proportion. And therefore x goes in the last remaining spot. I will solve by cross multiplication. 40x equals 24 times 80. 40x equals 1920, and then we divide both sides by 40 to isolate our x. X is equal to 1920 divided by 40, which is going to be 48. So yes, if I had a calculator, I might have been able to do that a little more quickly. And what's my unit of measure? Well, no unit of measure was given, and the advice I always give students in geometry questions when they don't give you a unit of measure, use the word units as your unit. This is a useful habit to be into that can pay off sometimes, depending on the type of question. So whether you see this as a tree shadow proportion or just as a similar triangles situation, either way you are going to use a proportion to solve it, and that's how you give the answer and justify your answer instead of just looking at the situation and figuring out what the answer must be, because of course that can be done as well. And one of the pitfalls that some of my students have is they're quite smart with math and they look at the situation and they know the answer right away. They realize that 40 is half as big as 80, therefore 24 has to be half as big as what? 24 is half as big as 48. That type of student will get the answer very quickly, but then the temptation is to write down the answer without showing how you got it, because it all happened up here. The teacher who's correcting your work needs to see you showing how to find the answer. That is today's Daily Dose of Math. Please like, subscribe, and share.